Hello students, hope all of you are fine and healthy. Students, in this video we will do our first chapter of reader book, that is for the love of trees. Right? As the name suggests, this chapter is about our nature, and this chapter is in this chapter we will read that why we celebrate World Environment Day. Right? Before starting the chapter, student, I'll begin with the discussion of the unit. The unit's name is Unit 1, Nature's Bounty. Now, bounty means gift or reward. Now, what is nature's gift to human race or to humankind? Nature's gift to humankind is air we breathe, sunlight, trees, each and everything we get from this mother earth, right? So, but do we ever wonder what we give back to earth? No, we never wonder, we never think that what we are giving back to nature. If nature is giving us air, we give it back air pollution, which come from different factories made by us or different vehicles which we run, right? If nature give us trees, what we give it? Deforestation. We cut those trees and we make buildings from that. Even to, irony of human nature, we cut trees, we make paper out of it, and on that paper we write save trees, right? So will do this unit to realize the importance of nature in our life, why we need to preserve it. Usually people say that nature is a gift to us from our ancestors, but no one can gift it. Its existence is, there is no date of existence of our nature. So how we can say it is given to us by our ancestors? Nature is a creator and it created itself. We are not the creators of a nature, but this saying that our ancestor gifted us nature is not correct, because they preserved it for us. Nature is a creator, it created by itself. They preserved it for us and gave it into our hands to preserve it for our future generation. But are we saving it? There is scarcity of water, scarcity of resources, air is polluted, ozone layer depletion, global warming, and numbers of problems which we gifted to nature, right? So in this unit we will read about about nature and a chapter, a very inspirational story of Amrita Devi, right? Now before starting this chapter, students, from you I'll advise you that once you begin watching this video, if you haven't read this chapter for the love of trees, please pause the video, go and read the chapter first, because there is no point of listening or watching this video until or unless you don't know the chapter, right? So students, I'll start this lecture with a saying which is written in your book, which is by Mahatma Gandhi. Nature provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed, right? So what it says, Mahatma Gandhi says that nature provides enough to satisfy our need is what we need it, right? What is necessary for us, but what is greed? Beyond that need, right? Nature is giving us water to drink, to use for our daily purpose, but how we waste it? By washing our cars, by leaving taps open for the hours, right? So now in this chapter we'll talk about it, for the love of trees. Now the story begin when the king of when the king wanted to, Maharaja Abhay Singh of Jodhpur, right? He wanted to construct a new palace and he required some wood for it. So he sent his soldiers to nearby village Khijarli. When the soldiers went to Khijarli, they were wondered and awestruck by watching or by looking at the, by visiting that village, because there were lots of trees, right? There was no deforestation in that village, And in that village there were, such a peaceful environment was there. There were n number of trees. There was, they were so amused to see it. What they saw, there were no machines for farming. The villagers used to plow their fields with ox or bull, right? And further, what they saw that deer was there. They were roaming freely. Then further, further it is explained that they used to rear cow and buffaloes for dairy, right? They do not used to sell their dairy products. They used to use them, and their animals were trained to not harm others. If you read this chapter, you will be able to relate more with this lecture, right? So the animals were not harmed. They were taught to not harm others, right? And further, they saw that there was a kind of a water restoration where they used to store water orans, where they use it for grazing as well as, right? So now the villagers were very amused and wondered by looking at that village, because why they came there? To destroy that nature, to cut trees, right, for the construction of palace. Now, but what they could have done, they thought, if we'll not cut the trees, king will punish us, right? So they got scared and they begin their work of cutting trees. So when they begin, they tried to cut first tree. A loud voice came of a lady. She said, no, don't cut those trees. If you want to cut those trees, you have to cut me first. That lady was Amrita Devi. Now the soldier said, are you mad? Are you stupid that you want to sacrifice your life for these trees? These are just trees. They have no feelings, no emotions. They are just trees. So she said, no, they are like my family to me. So you cannot kill them, and if you want to kill them, you have to kill me first. Now they said, no, we cannot do this because it is our job. Our king has ordered us, and we have to cut those trees, right? So she said no. Then they said, you can bribe us if you don't want us to cut those trees. But she said, why? I'll bribe you. This is my village. These are my trees, and why should I bribe you to not cut them? You cannot cut them. But the soldiers were very brutal. They killed Amrita Devi, and after killing her, her three daughters came, and unfortunately the soldiers did the same with them, and one by one 363 Bishnois, it was village of Bishnois, came forward to save the trees, and they met the same fate, right? So all of them were killed. And when this news reached to king, so now the king felt very guilty that his soldiers killed so many people, and the villagers sacrificed their life for trees. How selfish I was, that to fulfill my needs I did this. So he said that, okay, what you now he promised that he will give gold coins as compensation. But what villagers said that we do not want any gold coin as compensation. What we want is just ban cutting of trees and killing of animals, right? So king agreed, because in that because people used to kill animals also, slaughtering, if you know, to kill animals for selfish reasons, right? For eating, for their skin and all. So king promised them that no one will cut trees and kill animals in Khijarli ever. And in the memory of Amrita Devi, her three daughters, and 363 Bishnois, World Environment Day is celebrated every year on 5th June by the Bishnois in New Delhi, right? They remember those Bishnois who sacrificed their life for the trees and nature, and salute them by celebrating this day. So students, we should take an oath that if we cannot do anything for our nature, we will do things to not harm it, right? We should try to plant a tree in a year. A tree does not cost much, just 6 to 7 minutes, right? So we should try to plant a tree every year, and along with that we should try to preserve the resources for our future generation, so that they should not curse us that they have to live in an artificial environment, because all of us love fresh air, right? We all want to go for vacations to the places where we can enjoy the nature and nature's beauty. So let's save it together, right? So I hope you like this chapter, because it is one of my favorite chapter. I love reading it and teaching it, and I hope you understood the message what is given in this chapter, right? And in my next video, students will discuss question answers, and I'll give you guidelines to how to maintain your notebooks. So take care. Thank you.